Hey there, hi there, hello there, everybody. Happy
Howdy,
Tuesday.
everybody.
Yeah, I was watching the show last week at the rewatched the beginning of it because I did this whole. I started talking before our faces come on, thinking they could hear, and it didn't. So I wasted all that wit on nobody, and I was like,
Hmm.
"Oh man, that's terrible." I hate it. I hate it when you don't get to experience the my
The
wit.
funny, the AMOK.
The
You're
full
mucking
Adrian.
it.
I
The
actually,
full blown Adrian.
I,
Could they hear us
I,
trying to read the credits?
yeah, they can
Yeah.
hear that, which is weird because they couldn't. They can hear the. They couldn't hear the intro, and I think I have it muted. I
Oh
think I
Yes.
yeah.
figured out how to do
Uh,
that, and I was like, "Oh well, shoot." Then we could talk all the way through the thing. But anyhow, whatever.
no, I got a message and said,
I'm still
during
learning.
intro,
Yeah.
you are muted. I thought,
Yeah.
oh, great. He doesn't like me anymore. So I crossed
Yeah.
my arms and
He muted all of
waited.
us. If it makes you feel any better.
Oh, thank you. All right.
Fine,
Appreciate
fine.
it.
Anyhow, it's. I hope you guys had a great week so far.
Last week we had 5 Mondays.
Oh,
I had a very interesting
This week so
day
far is
so
pretty good.
far.
yeah.
A lot of learning about
Oh,
frauds.
Frauds. Yeah.
Oh,
Well,
yeah.
okay. Little without going into any detail.
no,
Uh,
no detail.
I'm at work, and then my phone goes bing, 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 and I open up Messenger, and there's a freaking novel on there. Okay, if you send me a novel, I'm not going to read it. If you send me a 20-minute video, I'm not going to watch it. My ADD, I'm like, I can't do it. I can't do it. But apparently there was some drama about somebody within the paranormal community. You'll say, and
Yep.
there are a lot of people out there who are not genuine, and
I'm always about learning somebody else's story, but when you have so much evidence that pushes towards that person,
Yeah.
I mean, you got to take it into consideration, especially when you're doing something else. Because if you're doing a
Yeah.
podcast or you're doing anything like that, you want to be safe. You don't want to be represented or known as.
You
oh,
don't
you're
want to
that
be
person.
associated. Yeah, you don't want your name associated with that. You may be.
Which is sad because I am adamant about there's two sides to every story and
Yeah.
something in between. But when you also have police evidence
Yeah.
that kind of turns
Yeah.
towards that, it's like,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You know how
Uh,
it goes though. I mean, it is a community that's not regulated. I mean, we're not a regulated thing. There's no such thing as a professional anybody. There's not a professional paranormal organization. So anybody can say anything, and that's why I was weird about the woo woo people because anybody can say anything,
yeah.
and so you have to take a lot of it with a grain of salt. We try to. I always try to be as genuine of a person as I can be.
Yes.
So no matter where you meet me, one thing about it is if you tell the truth, you never have to remember what you said, right?
Exactly.
Very
So,
true.
Exactly.
Uh,
Oh,
uh,
your teddy bear in the background keeps smiling at you.
Teddy bear. Oh, who? What are you
Fine,
talking
I'm
about?
kidding. You.
Oh,
You said yeah, you just blocked it. Okay, he's stopped smiling.
he's talking about woo woo. He
You were
is
talking.
woo-woo.
You're
You got
talking
me.
about
You got me.
Wooly and
Okay,
fake
you got me
Adrian.
freaked out. I was like, teddy bear. That's
You threw me for a
fine.
loop there.
Isn't that a
Poor
teddy bear back?
Alden.
Is that a teddy
What?
bear back there?
You lost me.
Or is
That's
that
all
your
right.
dog up on the table?
What do you?
Oh,
What are you
there's a
talking
teddy
about?
bear right over there
Yeah.
on your desk,
Left
right
shoulder
behind you.
against
Oh,
the wall.
behind your left shoulder. What is that? No, it's a piece of equipment, isn't it?
What is that?
Oh, it looks like a teddy bear.
It looks like a teddy bear from here.
It is. Oh, it's a camera.
Yeah,
It's
it's a
a
piece of
camera.
equipment. Yeah.
You have a
No,
camera?
no. Okay. Wait, once you got.
Didn't
Once
you just
get
have your
that-
eyes worked on?
Yeah, but not
Hey,
my
I
head.
look.
But not my head.
Pareidolia.
I'm like, I'm trying to look at a
Pareidolia.
teddy bear.
This is a class of pareidolia.
It isn't.
Pareidolia.
When it's blurred out, it does have.
It
the
looks
shape
like a
of
pet
bear.
teddy bear. So.
We'll save you
Yeah.
right now. Talk about let's
Squirrel,
continue on with
big
some
time
genuine
here.
people. We had a little conversation
Yeah.
before the show with our guest, and one of the
Oh,
things I
we're
said about him
already up
is
in arms.
if you call on this guy, you know what you're getting. He is a genuine guy, genuine article. Met him in person a couple times, sat and had dinner with him one time. We've been trying to get together for dinner, but he's busy. I'm busy. It always works out kind of weird, but we will get back together again. What did we go to the Dari? It's a pretty cool little restaurant in Greenwood. But anyhow, he is the author of Experiences of the Paranormal. Which is, yeah,
Got mine
real
out too.
conversations with demons, and we'll get into that here in a moment. I got a lot of questions to ask of him. And,
Make me
Yeah.
feel bad.
maybe you do too. So be in the chat, and we'll try to get to everything we can. We'll bring him on right now because I want to get started right away with this.
That's right.
If I can find the right button, there we go.
Hey, where are you?
I'm
Hello.
here.
Hey, Terry.
I'm glad to have you on the show. Finally, we tried to have you on the show like on the first season, I think, no, second season, and yeah, it had like some kind of technical haywire went wrong, and everything went sideways. And I was like, well, that's the devil at work. They didn't want you talking,
That
Yes.
does happen.
Yes.
but we don't like that. I want to ask, or first off, I want you to just take a couple seconds and explain to people how Pastor Terry Fox got involved with the paranormal at all. Because that just
Yeah.
isn't something. I mean, we have people. I'm the Reverend Adrian. I've got my minister card. I've got a minister's handbook. I've got all this stuff. I can marry people. There's a lot of those in the paranormal, but you are like the real deal. So how did you get involved with the paranormal?
Well, it's great to be with you guys, and I so much enjoyed meeting everyone in Little Rock at our convention, and I'm already looking forward to this year's convention. It's going to be an amazing time, and our booth was not far from you guys, and we just really felt drawn to come and meet you guys. And it's really the paranormal family is what I call it. I think there's a family of paranormal, and I've been a Southern Baptist pastor for 45 years. I pastored all size churches. I pastored 2 mega churches. Overall, in my whole career, I was senior pastor of about 20,000 people over those 45 years, and grew up in Arkansas with a single mom in Greenwood, Arkansas, and grew up being an Arkansas Razorback. And I told the Lord that I'd go anywhere as long as He wanted me to, as long as I could come back to Arkansas before I died. And so I wanted to come home.
Cool.
And we pastored in Wichita, Kansas for 25 years, and God really blessed us there. Pastored in Corpus Christi, Texas. And while I was pastoring there, the church grew to about 1,500 active people on Sunday. But I was also serving as a lieutenant with the Nueces County Sheriff's Office. And then I worked with TABC, which is a Texas Alcohol Beverage Commission. It's really state police agency that kind of supervises and does law enforcement with anything alcohol beverage wise. We worked all kinds of bars, and in fact, it was kind of funny being the Baptist preacher in Corpus Christi, the largest church in town at the time. And on Friday and Saturday night, I was in all the topless bars, and I was everywhere. And so that'll it's kind of funny how to put that on a Baptist preacher's resume. That I worked
Well, you had sunglasses on and you had your eyes closed, right?
I did.
One at a
Actually,
time.
No. I
What
guess
I
the
was
rule is you can go, you just can't recognize anybody.
Yeah.
That's the way I
Yeah.
always heard it.
Actually, Ken, I was looking to see if there's any church members in there, and I found.
Well, there you go. Okay.
They'd always
Good for
say,
you.
"Pastor Terry, what are you doing in here?" And I'd always say, "Well, what are you doing in here?" And but I didn't realize back then that God was preparing me for a future calling down the road, because I think the uniqueness of my ministry, Telling the Truth Ministry, is the training in law enforcement for 10 years. And it wasn't writing speeding tickets. It wasn't just that kind of, I worked with banditos. We worked in all the bars that the banditos owned. And it opened my eyes to the fact that spiritual warfare is real. And it helped train me to do what I do now, because frankly, we go into a lot of places. We go into a lot of meth houses. We go into places to help people that honestly other churches and other pastors probably wouldn't want them anyway. Some of the people we reach, just to be very honest with your audience, but God loves them, and we go in some very dangerous places, and we just love to help people, and I think the training in law enforcement helped me, because I'm just not intimidated when I go into those kind of places. And I used to know that when I went into the bars and dealt with people, the authority to be there was not Terry Fox. It was a badge that said the state of Texas on it, and I knew that we had authority to be there. Well, doing the paranormal today, I know that I have authority. I know I have a calling from God to go into these places, and frankly, I just don't worry a lot about safety. And our team knows that we take high risk, and we go in. We're really kind of special forces. Well,
Yeah.
we go in behind enemy lines, and we go into some places. And I'm just honored, and I won't mention any names here, but we have several paranormal teams that have started reaching out to us. And when they get into something they feel like is demonic or dark, they reach out to us. And so we love that.
And I appreciate that. I love that because I wish, well, I was too stupid. A situation that I got into, I wish I had somebody that I can go to. And that's the point of when I give my presentation, I tell people, you feel this, get out, call somebody. And
Yeah.
now if somebody comes to me, hey, who can you call? I'm going to send them your direction. So,
Well, well, we appreciate it very, very much, and we love to help people. I will tell you, and there's no exaggeration in this. Barbara is here, and my team would tell you that we get about 5 calls a week, 20 to 30 calls a month for help. And the challenge is because of pastoring mega churches, I've been on radio. I did a talk radio show that was secular radio show many years. Our our churches were always televised, and so we just have a lot of audience out there through these 45 years, and and they just really didn't know how to take the fact that I would call myself a paranormal pastor, that I'd be willing to step out of a pulpit, which frankly paid very well when the salaries have been nice. And what really broke us into it, I've always understood the demonic. I've always prayed over people. And I had 2 pastors, Southern Baptist preachers in my life. They're both gone in heaven today, that believed in the paranormal. They believed in the fact that deliverance was needed. We use deliverance a little bit more than we do exorcisms, but I'm not afraid of the word of exorcisms. We are exorcists. And at first I kind of wanted to shy away from that term, but that's what we do. And I'm not ashamed of it. Some would say, well, it's all Catholic, and I have to be honest and tell you, I'm grateful for the Catholic Church. I'm grateful that they were willing to do this when the Protestant Church stayed away from it. And
well,
so
yeah, as a matter of fact, the family that I helped, that my story. I don't know if you listened to my presentation or not, but they were a Baptist family. And the one son was a lay preacher, but they knew the Bible. But as soon as we realized that it was a demonic presence in the house, they went to, who do we call?
Yeah,
and I was like, and then I went to Preacher Adrian for like 20 minutes in their living room.
Yes,
Only one person you got to call.
Well, what kind of launched this, and I've been doing this as a pastor in Kansas. I was helping quite a few people, but you might remember in Kansas, we dealt with a case. Rachel Hilliard was a young lady that came to our church on a Sunday morning, and came to us, and I was on my way out the door to drive to Corpus Christi, Texas, where we actually had 2 churches. I was lead pastor in Wichita and Corpus Christi, and so every other Sunday I'd preach at different campuses, and then we would do live streaming back to the other campus. So we were on the road all the time between Wichita and Corpus Christi, which is about 800 miles. But Rachel Hilliard came to our church on Sunday morning and said to us she needed an exorcism. She'd reached out to my staff, and so we told her when we got back to Kansas, we would go to her house. Well, we did, and we found out that she had a TIB, traumatic brain injury, TBI, traumatic brain injury. She was on meth, and just a real sad case. But we went to her home, and I tried to pray over her there, and she refused it. She asked us to stop, and we do. A lot of times people will pin people down and hold people down. That we just don't do that. That's not what we're called to do. If a family member wants to bring somebody like a child and they want to hold the child down, they can, but we don't do it. Well, anyway, we were working with her, and a few days after we left their house, one thing I just want to throw in, that when we go help people, we don't just go to do deliverance. If they need food, we buy them food. If they need their power turned back on, we hook their power up. I have a group of people that love us and love what we do, and I take no salary for this. I was able to take my retirement early. My wife Barbara is a school teacher, high school math teacher, and my
Oh, praise her.
yeah, yeah, pray for her, especially this time of year. I think she
Oh
does
my
more
goodness.
paranormal work than I do, just being a nice probably. But anyway, long story short, Rachel Hilliard committed a homicide. She lured her kind of a step grandmother to her house. There was a custody battle going on. And when we were in that house, I knew it was full of demons, and I knew she was in a very bad place. Well, not only did she lure her in there, she killed her, but she also beheaded her. She literally cut her head off, and
Oh.
her grandson, her actual daughter, the grandmother had brought the grandson. He was running down the streets in Wichita, banging on doors, trying to get people to call the police, and finally the police came about 20 minutes later and discovered that not only had the grandmother been killed by Rachel, but she had cut her head off and her head was in the kitchen sink.
Oh my
And
Gosh.
because of just my exposure in Wichita, and we keep every case we do very confidential. That's one thing I think you have to do in this work. But it leaked, not from our team, but it leaked out that we were actually helping her. And when that happened, every TV station from everywhere came. Fox News, CNN, Nancy Grace came, and they were intrigued with the fact that we were trying to help her with an exorcism, and she what?
Tell that she had texted you.
Yeah, she had text us for help, and well, anyway, it was a media circus at our church that Sunday morning because part of it is I'm just visible in the media there, but what happened in all that was that it went nationwide, and some of the media was positive about what we did. I was real proud. The Catholic Church came to my defense, and we made the front page of the Wichita Eagle. We made papers everywhere, but that was kind of my history, and I've always had an ability to stir things up, and always been good at doing that. But what happened? It took us nationwide, and to be honest with you, we've never looked back since then. When people found out that there was a Protestant pastor that was willing to try to help people, it just went crazy, Adrian. I mean, it just went crazy. And we had TV stations. I did interviews and interviews, and we just feel like God works in strange ways. And some of the media, of course, was trying to be very negative toward what we were doing, but it didn't matter. It didn't matter. What mattered was we love people, and that we were willing to do deliverance and exorcisms. And like I said, it got covered on CNN, crime shows. It just went nationwide, and we just got out of our hands, literally, and it became difficult. I tried to pastor 2 more years after that, but I was busy all week trying to do deliverances. I was on airplanes, and honestly, we're busy enough that we could be on an airplane every week going to help people in the nation. Our struggle is figuring out who needs it worst. Where do we go to help people?
Yeah.
It's one of those things. You say, "Here am I, Lord, send me," and then he goes, "Okay."
Yeah.
And you're like, "Oh, here I go." Okay, before we get too much more into this, now the question I got is, in your opinion. Now I've read your book, but in your opinion. Because some pastors, when you talk about anything supernatural, it's all demonic. Now, do you see a difference between ghosts, demons, and angels?
That's a great question, and the answer is yes. And I cover that in the book.
I asked it.
What that point of view I have, because I do believe there's a difference in ghosts that were human at one time, and the demonic was never human. They were created angels that had fallen. We probably take more controversy from preachers because of that stand, and which is fine with me. I've never worried about criticism. I've never cared about that. I probably should have cared more. I just don't. But it's interesting. The people that criticize that, I'll just give you a real fast example, is this. How many times, and if you haven't heard it, it happens a lot, when somebody's passing away, they will oftentimes talk to their mom or dad. They will see loved ones that come to them. Well, Baptist preachers are okay with that because they've experienced it. But then they'll turn around and just, take a hatchet to me just because they would argue that there's no such thing. If it's anything at all, it's all demonic.
Yes.
And
That's
in
which
fact,
is what I ran into in
yes,
my situation, because this house is haunted, and
yeah,
I saw a full body apparition.
yeah.
That 5'7" slender built guy with the crew cut. I went and talked to my pastor. We were friends, and
Yeah.
he's like, yeah, he wouldn't even touch the subject.
Well,
Well, that's like
what,
my
It's not real.
son.
yeah, Shauna, what would you say?
So
I was like, that's like my son. He's apostolic, so everything paranormal is demons, and it's like,
Yeah,
mhm.
yeah.
baby, no, it's not.
It's not. Well, they're the bottom line is they're wrong, and I always ask them these days when they write to me or complain. I always say to them, "Well, how many exorcisms have you done?
Yeah.
You know, how many? We've done about 500 cases. How many have you done?" And but I learned that one of the tactics of the devil is to get you arguing and spending all your time fussing with people about it. I don't
Oh
waste
yeah.
my time with it. We go help people that are in trouble. I'm not going to argue with a bunch of preachers about that stuff. Now it's interesting. I've had a couple pastors that were very well known. That I was very active in the Southern Baptist Convention. I served as the chairman of their boards, and I traveled 35 weeks a year just about my whole life, and preaching and traveling but a lot of those people really take issue with that question, Adrian, and I don't care. We were doing a deliverance in Corpus Christi. It was our third night in a row with the same person, and honestly, we were getting our butts kicked. We were not winning. And I tell people that you don't win every one of these battles. You just don't win them.
Some things don't come out unless you fast. So do you
Sometimes,
fast before you do these?
sometimes we have fast. We do fast sometimes. Sometimes somebody will say, "Well, you must be a fake because Jesus was able to cast out all the demons," and I just tell them, "Well, I'm not Jesus, and neither are you."
Yeah.
And,
Yeah. Yeah.
but you remember, his disciples were not able to cast them out all the time, and Jesus said, "These kind takes fasting and prayer." And I think that there were some demons that only Jesus had the power to cast out, because we're dealing with different levels of power.
Oh
And I
yeah.
think
No,
the
I get
same is
that.
true.
100%.
Don't you agree? The
100%.
Catholic tradition says there's 9 levels of angelic angels, and I think they're correct. They've studied that well, and I believe that different deliverance pastors and exorcists also have different abilities and power.
Yeah.
I was wondering early on why it seemed like our cases were not as advanced as some of the cases that I was studying. There were some Catholic pastors that I was studying under, and man, their cases were a lot more severe than what ours was. And I think I cursed myself, because shortly after saying that, we started getting calls to places where the level was higher than anything I'd ever anticipated before. There was one in Kansas City this year where we physically were thrown across the room, things that I had never had happen to me. I didn't doubt they could happen, but they never had. And it was a 3 hours of a hell of a night. I'll just tell you, I didn't know if we were going to get out of that alive. I didn't know, but I was very grateful that we stayed there. But what happened is I fell back on my training, and I had trained well to know what to do in those situations. And we ended up having victory in that house, but we were beat up. Our whole team was beat up. We were bleeding. We had bruises. We were pushed from the living room all the way to the kitchen so hard, all of us. The person that we were doing the exorcism was in a chair. Her husband was behind her, holding on to her. It was myself and my assistant, Janie, in Kansas, who lives in Wichita. And it was like a force that you couldn't see it, but it shoved us all the way from the living room, and it shoved us against the wall in the kitchen to the point we knocked over the kitchen table. Glasses broke. I mean, it was a powerful force, and I had never experienced that come at us. I have been hit before. I've been tapped before. I had a person that was possessed grab my shoulder and touch me, and it paralyzed the whole half side of my body for about an hour. Whatever was in them came into me. Janie had
we've experienced that too. Tina had something go through her, and she had that, and it lingered for the longest time.
It did.
Yeah, I'm familiar with that feeling. It's crazy.
It did, and we had never had that happen. And And I just realized that you're dealing with when you do deliverance and exorcisms, you're dealing with different levels of demonic activity, and we kind of explain in the book why we think it's important to get their names. Some exorcists are deliverance pastors, men and women, will say that you should not talk to the demons at all, that you should not have any conversation with them. That is not our approach at all. I feel
No,
like
well, I mean,
I feel like
supposed to
you have
model
to know it.
ourselves after we're supposed to model ourselves after Jesus, right? And Jesus
Exactly.
spoke to them and he
He
said,
did.
"Get out." Uh, uh, when I had a question, I lost it. Go ahead.
Well, let me just say something you said, Adrian, that's so true a while ago. There are no professionals in this. Anybody tells you that they're a professional in this, just stay away from them. You know, they're lying to
Yeah,
you, or they're wannabes. Because the deeper you get into this, the more you understand that every case is different. All 500 cases are different. People are different. Their experiences are different, and generally, you're dealing with different types of demons. And ours is kind of unique. And I'll just
I
throw this
remember
in
now.
real quick, and you may want to go somewhere with it later. But when we do a deliverance, we don't just go in and pray the demons off. We literally summon. I like to say that we require the demons to come forth. Any demon or demons, and there's always plural demons.
Yes,
That's working in a person.
that's where my question was going. I
We
forgot it.
we
I
we
remember
we
now.
bring them. Well, what makes us different is we bring those demons. We subpoena those demons to come to us. And let me tell you, when they do come, the room gets pitch dark, and you can feel it. My skin just wants to crawl off sometimes, and everybody has different reactions. Sometimes I get very nauseous, but I know when I'm in the presence of these demons.
Oh,
And
I know
what
that.
we
Once
do
you feel it, once, you know it's
exactly,
different.
it,
Yes,
it's different because you're
very
not
heavy.
going to see these things. But we walk through the exorcism, and it's usually about a 3 hour case, a 3 hour situation for us. Most cases are 3 hours, but we help lead the person that we're dealing with. They're the ones that take the authority over the demons, because even
100%.
if they leave, if I tell them to leave, they're going to come right back as soon as I get in the car and go back to Arkansas or Kansas. They're going to come back.
Exactly right.
So our process is more detailed, but we walk the person through the exorcism, and basically we train them, and we help them to do the exorcism of the demons that's attacking them. And that
I've never
and I'll
cleared a
just tell
house.
you, I get
I always
criticized
show
for
them
that,
how to do it.
but
Hmm.
that's what works for us, you know. And I
See,
don't criticize if someone does it different,
Adrian,
but that's what we do.
the question that I
so
had,
so you're
I'm sorry. Let me get this out real fast. The question that I had is, it's like demons are prevalent around everybody. I feel that they do their best to muddy the water, so to speak, and try to ruin your testimony and try to do stuff. But I think it's sometimes you come across like a general demon that takes all those ones that are around you,
That's
and then they
correct.
all start lockstepping in the same direction, and that whole feeling just guides you, that mob rules mentality. And that's the way I kind of explain it. Do you
Yeah.
see it that way?
Yes, absolutely. You know, you have to have some fun in this ministry, or you go crazy. Uh,
Mhm.
we have nicknames that the demons have given us. Mine is MFer, and I always say to the demons, "Can't you
Hey,
be
I've been
more
called
original?
that by
Yeah,
people
can't
who
you be
love me.
more original?" And my assistant Janie Swinford, who does a lot of the exorcisms with me, they call her Mother Bitch. You know, that's what they
No.
call her. And but it's exciting when it starts
Terms of
happening, because
endearment
then
in
we
my
know
house, I think.
we're in the real deal when this starts happening. And
Oh, yeah,
and uh,
that makes
and
sense.
and
Yeah.
and nothing else, it gets them out of their strategy, because they get worked up. And
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
it is
When you're
real, and
when you're
it's
not
very real.
offended, yeah, it bothers them. You had a question, Ken?
yeah, you were mentioning that you try to get the individuals basically to take control. So your focus is on getting basically, I guess, the Lord and the angels to intercede
Yes.
with them, not for them, or both, with them, for them, and to encourage the victims, I'll say, to work with this Holy Spirit,
Yes.
or the Lord, or whatever. That's your
Yes.
goal, correct?
Yes, it is. And the bottom line is, it all comes under one thing: authority. You know, who
Right.
has more authority, the demonic demons or us that are using our authority? And that's where the battle is. It's a battle of authority. It comes together. But we teach the people, and we guide them through the prayers that is needed. We're in the process now of writing a book on the power of prayer that we'll be able to put in that. We're putting just many different kinds of spiritual warfare prayers in there, because not only do you need those prayers in the middle of the exorcism, but the follow up is just as important. And we're trying to put together tools that people can have afterwards. But yes, we always find out that there's a head demon, there's an alpha demon in every situation. And
Yes.
when I was growing up and
Wonderful.
going deer hunting, my dad used to tell me, "Don't shoot the doe that comes by in the clearing. Don't shoot it." He says, because the bucks will make the does run out and hopefully see if there's any danger, and somebody will shoot at the does. He says, if you want to shoot a buck, you have to be patient and you have to wait for the buck to come out. And the same thing with these demons.
Yeah.
These demons will throw other demons under the bus, and they will automatically throw them at us, the weaker demons, and the one that is the dominant demon. And I personally feel like you have to figure that out. And sometimes you can do that before you get to a case, but generally you're in the middle of the battle before you find out who the alpha demon is. And that in itself is quite the process. And we do research in real time. If we get a name of the demon, which we generally do, we will text it to Barbara or someone else, and in real time they're researching it while we're in the middle of this exorcism, because it's amazing how much research there is on particular demons that are in the Bible. And so it's just an interesting thing, Ken, to do that. But that's pretty much what we do.
Okay, so there's two questions off of that. So basically, you're the median, the intermediary between the Almighty and the victim and the demons that are being that you're trying to dispel, or trying to help dispel, because you're really not dispelling them, but you're helping.
That's right.
Okay.
That's right.
The other thing is, you keep saying, well, I've heard now several times, you get a name. Do you use paranormal equipment? That's my question. How do do they talk to you? Do you hear it? Do you use spirit boxes? Do you use
we have, kid, I don't care how we get the name.
Okay.
Because that I can assure you that entity does not want to give that name up, because then they've had to submit. See, that's the first beginning of submission, for them to have to submit to us to tell us their name. And they usually will start off by saying, "There's no effing way we're going to tell you who we are." And,
Yeah, because then you have power over them.
yeah, and the minute that starts, our team is encouraged, because that means we're working. It means we're working. It's going to work. Some of the demons, the biggest strategy they have is to lie low, and they'll try to go dormant and hide from us. And it's not because we're that big of a deal, even though these demons oftentimes will say, "Well, we know you, and we've seen you do this," and
Yeah, you're not a big deal. It's who you bring to the fight. To kind of answer the question for Terry, Matthew 18:20. Okay, Jesus says, it says, "For where two or three are gathered in my name, there am I with them." It's not you. It's not Terry that does it. It's the team that comes together, and they bring focus to that, and the Holy Spirit comes in. Jesus kicked him out. Terry don't have the ability to do that. It's who he brings to the fight. You need this book, and good knowledge of that in order to fight demons. If you don't have knowledge of this, call somebody who does.
That's correct. That is 100%. That's biblical, and that's correct.
Right.
What we do, God uses us to get it going. We're the mediator. I'd say the right word, Ken, is mediator. In that battle, because I believe that everybody has a guardian angel anyway, and sometimes we empower their angel
looks like this
to work. But
Mine too.
It's a battle, and again, every time that I've been in a major exorcism, every time we finish one, rather. And by the way, we don't know if it's successful or not. We're not God. We think it is successful. And times when we probably left there feeling like discouraged that we didn't do any good, we probably did more than we thought we did, because it's, we just don't know. You don't know all that. There's things we don't know. But it's pretty amazing. I can tell you this. I know when the demons are present, and I know when they're gone. That we know. And that's what we do know. And We just pour ourselves out. But I was going to tell you, every time when I do an actual exorcism, now I love to do exorcisms on land and houses and all those things. I enjoy those a lot more. The actual exorcism of a human being, I just dread it. I dread it till I get there. There's a heaviness. My staff will tell you, don't ask me anything. I'm not in a very good mood going into battle, because it takes everything out of you to do that. And I've told God just about I think every time I've done an exorcism, good or bad one, I said, God, I hope you appreciated that. I'm through. No more. I'm going to go fishing. I've done my part. And
You
I
can't
truly
retire
mean
from
it.
that.
I truly mean it, Adrian. I mean it at that moment. I'm not doing another one of them. There's not enough money in the world to make you feel that dirty to get to what
Yeah.
it does to you. And you, what it does to you, it changes you. You're not the same person when you come out of one of those battles like that. And I really
I
mean it
know.
every time.
And with people, I'm sorry, Sean, but and with people, you're actually looking at a life and death possible
That's
situation
right. That's
for
right.
the
Oh,
victim.
I do have one that
There
comes
you
off of that.
Okay.
So, because he said life and death situation, a lot of preachers and priests and everything think that mental, like suicidal thoughts or depression, can result from demonic oppression. How do you kind of differentiate between spiritual and mental health issues?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I encourage you to read
Chapter 9.
chapter. I think it's chapter 8. Chapter
Oh, so close.
Chapter 8. It is
Yeah.
chapter 8.
And Shauna, that is the great question. You know,
That is a
most
good question.
paranormal investigators that really know what to do and will tell you that most of the time it's not paranormal activity. I mean, you know, we have to go in there as a critic and say it's probably not, someone's probably not possessed. You know, the house probably is old and there's reasons things are happening. And I think if you don't go in with that attitude, you're just playing games, honestly.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
But I'm very, very proud of chapter 8 in this book. And Barbara is here with me. We spent hundreds of hours getting chapter 8 written. We interviewed professionals on both ends, professionals that do not believe in any paranormal at all. So I'm talking about psychologists, and counselors. And then we interviewed what few Christian psychologists with PhDs. There are some. Liberty University in Virginia has some professors there that are fabulous on this subject. But what we did is we studied it, and I think we that was the hardest part of writing this book is the discernment between what's mental illness or demonic. And I'll tell you what the bottom line is, and I encourage you to read that. We quoted a lot of experts. We got their permission to quote them. We interviewed a lot of experts in this area. But the bottom line is, sometimes it's both. The biggest challenge is when it's both. And
Yeah,
the
they don't
Catholic
take
Church,
advantage of the situation's already compromised. Of course they are.
it is, and most of the time it's both. People say, well, it has to be one or the other, and generally it's not one or the other. It may have started out as a mental issue, but remember, these demons latch on to weakness. They look
Yes.
for
Yeah.
portals. You know, we deal with special needs kids a lot. That's why, in fact, these demons, I'll just tell you what they are. They're bullies. They're bullies.
Oh yeah.
Of course.
And they
Yeah.
hurt people and they go after weaker people. But that's a great question, and I don't know that you ever know totally, honestly. I can tell you this: people say, "Well, how do you know that's not psychology?" Well, we've had people levitate many times, and when I have somebody
Yeah.
pinned to a ceiling in front of
Crazy
me,
don't levitate.
yeah, that's not psychology causing that person to be. We've had people pinned to the ceiling. We've had people completely go over the conference table while we're praying over them. We've had people talking languages. You know, I've studied Greek and Hebrew and Latin, and I know the difference. I'm not an expert in it, but I know it. And when you're dealing with some 10-year-old that's talking Latin and talking different languages, that's not psychology. That's psychology going on. That's
Just
not.
wonder why demons use
psychology.
Latin.
Yeah, go ahead.
But they're old. They're older than that language. Why are they talking in some kind of? Yeah, it's like, oh, it makes me sound all fancy.
Because it's not something that a lot of people use anymore.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They
Yeah.
start
Latin
talking
was a
Latin.
common.
I'd
Latin was
have
common
to
knowledge
laugh
at one
at them.
time. Yeah.
I'd hurt
But
their
the-
feelings if they started talking Latin at me.
Adrian, it's because they're making fun of science.
Yeah.
Science uses Latin.
Yes.
I say, you
Yes.
too dumb to talk to me. I know you're not supposed to taunt a demon.
Correct.
Adrian would taunt the demon.
Well,
Yeah.
see, I no,
To a
no, I'll
point.
tell you,
To a point.
I'm very serious about it because, yeah, when I started the paranormal, I thought, no problem, and then I ran into it and I experienced it from the person who's on the attacked side,
Yeah.
and I have
Yeah.
when I finally come to terms to it, and that took a couple of years to get through all that. When I finally come to terms to it, I talk about it a lot, but I don't go out there and I haven't poked
And
the
look
bear
for it. Right.
because like Terry said, I do not want to go through that again. I
Yeah.
don't
Right.
want anybody I know to go through that again.
Right.
And if I
Yeah.
have to fight, I'm going to do it.
Yeah.
But I don't want
Yep.
to sit, go searching. I don't want to pick a fight,
No.
and
No,
because
no, we'll
it's
lose. You'll
that's the
lose.
toughest.
There's,
Yeah.
Oh,
there's,
well,
yeah, you
well,
won't
you
win.
can not necessarily.
Not
The problem is
necessarily.
the problem is,
Yeah.
you know where it
Won't be
gets
the
most
same.
people and men? It gets us in our pride. Because our
Yeah.
pride
Yeah.
was
Yeah.
I was like, we handled that, I
We.
did this, I
Yeah.
did blah blah blah. I did
Yeah.
nothing. I
Yeah.
pointed the way to
Yeah.
the one who can do it.
Yeah.
But I did a lot of eye work and I got slaughtered
Yeah.
almost. So
Well,
but
now
no,
I wholly
go ahead.
believe if you have a strong soul and you really, totally, deep down believe that God is going to Jesus is going to save your soul and you do get attacked, I do believe that, yeah, maybe you're doomed for a little while, but you will always come back because you
Yeah.
have that strong faith and belief.
Yeah.
And as long
In
as you
my
have
case,
people that care about you
They
Exactly.
can chip
and
that
you have
faith
people
away,
that'll
though.
fight for
Yeah.
you,
chain
Yeah.
you down.
then
No,
Yeah.
well, in my case, that's what I did. I do believe that I was meant to go through that. I think
I agree.
that's
mm,
which is what I always say. When I talk about the battlefields throughout history are littered with dead bodies and armor. You can protect yourself however you want to go, but if you're going to get hit, you're going to get hit.
You're gonna
You're
get
going to
hit.
be taken. And
Yeah.
some people get
yeah,
wounded and they can never get back in the fight. Some people get wounded
yeah,
Yeah.
and they just get more into the fight. So I'm
wounded,
somewhere in the
yeah.
middle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
These
Terry,
demons, like when we're doing an exorcism, they oftentimes will bring up my past. Something I did when I was 10 years
of
old,
course,
12 years old,
of
and
course.
I just get chuckled at them, and I always say to them, I'd say, "Are you finished?" I'll let them say what they want to say. I'm going to say, "Jesus forgave me of that a long time ago, but the difference is you can't be forgiven, and I am." And then we move on, because
That's
what they'll
nice.
do sometimes, they'll rather have a fight with you and get you sidetracked, because remember, our focus is to get them away from that person, and so they'll pick a fight and try to get you sidetracked and to keep you from doing what you really came there to do. I mean, they're very smart. The definition of a demon is really the best definition is they are an intellectual being. They're smart. They were
Well, they're smart.
created.
Yeah.
They're intellectual. And by the way, the smallest the on the scale of demons, the lowest power demon is still 100 times more powerful than any human being.
Oh,
And,
Oh,
easy.
and,
yeah.
Yeah.
that's
and
true.
Adrian, I have listened to your presentation, and
We,
I learned a few things, believe it or not, from that presentation. But it is dangerous, and
Oh, yeah.
you have to be called to do this. You need to be trained to do this, because I'm just telling you, you're going to get your ass kicked out there if you
yeah.
if
That's what
We got
scares me
you're
the
not
most of
called to
these
do this. You're
kids
going to
going
get it.
out. All these
we
kids
got
going out being paranormal
oh
investigators and stuff like that. They don't know anything.
Yeah, they
no,
don't.
they
And that's
don't
what
know.
And the
No.
and
I,
the
I,
they're
one
I
not.
the
got
one and the wannabes are in more danger than the victims.
Well,
oh yeah.
Exactly.
if you'll notice, they won't be around 2 years from now, 3 years. You'll say, "What happened to
No.
old demon slayer over there?" Well, he's not slaying any demons anymore.
Yeah.
I got the Arkansas Ghost Hunters of Crawford County on here. I guess that's Wayne. I'm pretty sure. Now you've worked with him here in Arkansas. Uh,
Yes,
so you do work with paranormal teams.
yes.
Uh,
Yeah, Wayne has to
so
put up with us a lot because he calls us out a lot, and we love working with Wayne and his team. And you asked me earlier about equipment. Absolutely, equipment is helpful. And I mean, why in the world wouldn't you use any tool that you have? You
Yeah.
Sure.
know,
Sure. Yeah.
you need any advantage you can get, and
Makes sense.
and Wayne's team is very good at being able to discover that there's something there, and then that's when we come in. But we're going up to help another paranormal team up in Greers Ferry, Arkansas area. Uh, we work with other paranormal teams
You
across
can
the
drop their
country.
names. It doesn't bother us at all.
Yeah, yeah. We just help people, but I don't. I'm not a ghost hunter. I don't have really time to do that. I'd rather you guys do all the hard work and figure out what's there, and then let me come in and do the cleanup.
Okay, now we got a question from
I,
earlier on. It was like one of the first questions asked. Now what's your feelings on ghosts and Bigfoot?
I know people are seeing something. I haven't seen a Bigfoot,
Yeah.
but I used to go to Falk, Arkansas a lot, not to look for the Boggy Creek monster. I had family there, and I've been in those woods in the middle of the night, and I've been up down in there where I've actually known the people when the movie was made with the trailer house and all that scene.
Yeah.
I knew all those people personally, and I knew them. I will tell you this: they believe it, and I personally think that there is those things. What they are, I don't know. I don't know if they're a manifestation of an actual animal or if it's something demonic. I will tell you this: many people that we're getting calls on now are people that are being possessed by UFOs, and they invite the UFOs into their home. Uh, we did a big case in Missouri not long ago. We went to a very nice ranch where they started communicating to UFOs, and then they invited them into their home, and
I know there are
they
people who want to be probed, but I've never heard of nothing.
yeah, yeah.
But that's a
And
totally different story.
well, in this case, it just opened portals of real demons, and
Oh
the
yeah.
guy went and shot himself in the head. Uh, these demons told him to kill themselves,
Terrible.
and
Yeah.
but I don't think there's that many liars out there. And the people down in Falk that I knew, if you thought they were lying, you better not tell them they were liars because you might not come out of those woods. Okay.
Yeah.
These,
Yeah.
let me say it like these.
They don't
This-
take it very
they
well.
were not
Huh?
sissies.
Oh my God.
These were real men that would turn completely white when they would tell you what they had seen.
Wow.
And so yes, and by the way, not all paranormal is demonic and bad. People think, sometimes when I say I'm a paranormal pastor, and they'll say, well, they make the assumption that everything in paranormal is bad. It's not. Not everything's dark and paranormal. In fact, the good side of paranormal. Now, I will tell you this: a lot of preachers will write to me. I spoke at a Baptist convention the other day, and there was about 100 people there. Most of them were pastors, and I asked them point blank, "How many of you believe in the paranormal?" And about half of them raised their hand. Well, I just took the Bible, and I said to them, I said, "Well, then you need to quit preaching, because there's no book in the world that's more paranormal than the Word of God."
100%.
Anyway, that kind of got a little reaction too. But anyway, yes, I think that there's many things of the paranormal, including, things that we can't explain. That's what paranormal is. It's not natural. It's supernatural, and I have a feeling that there's much more supernatural activity around us than even we realize. Even though we
Oh,
all
oh,
believe
yeah.
in it, I
We
think
think
we
we
still
know.
underestimate how much spirituality there is out there.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah, we think
I
we
have a
only think
question.
we know. Oh,
I
finally.
have
Question.
Pam, go ahead. I got one after Pam.
When you brought up UFOs and aliens, it kind of made me think of this. So, what is the most deceptive or unusual form that you've seen a demonic presence take?
Probably a child, a little girl,
Really?
kids, probably. We've seen animals that are possessed. We've seen different manifestations. Is what you're really saying. um, Actually, I have actually seen demons manifested before. Not a lot, but I have. But I'd say through children many times, or somebody that I think one of the most dangerous things in the Bible tells us as Christians not to talk to the dead, not to try to bring them back and talk to them. My mom went to heaven 5 years ago. I miss her every day. I'd give anything to get to have a conversation with her today. But I know that if I reach out and try to do that, it probably wouldn't be her. And a lot of people, they're desperate to talk to their loved ones who's passed, and I think that opens a portal many times. And so I would say that's probably one of the most dangerous portals right there.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Family.
Yeah.
Got a
Yeah.
question. First, a comment first. I want to commend you for your ministry. I really do. I think it's awesome.
It's huge.
And because I'm going back about 18, 20 years ago now when I kind of started in this, and I wanted to be a private investigator basically for homes. And I did for about 4 or 5 years, and then it just got to be overwhelming and too much. But when I started first, before I even began, I met with a shaman from a group that I kind of belonged to, and I had a long interview chat with her. And about an hour in, she asked me two questions. The first one was, "Why do you want to do this?" And I gave an answer, and I thought was pretty decent, and I think it was heartfelt because I wanted to help people. That was the whole
Yeah.
thing there. But then she said, "I've got one more question. Are you ready for this?" And I'm like, "I don't think so." And her question was, "Are you afraid of death and that you might die doing this?" Man, I heard that and I went, "Oh!" I sat back in that chair, the sofa, sank into the sofa for a couple of minutes. Then I leaned forward and finally said, "I think I'm okay with that."
Yeah.
She said, "That's I was hoping to hear that from you."
Yeah.
Did you go through that kind of that? I'm going to call it a rude awakening type of thing. Did you go through that?
Ken, you said it exactly what I went through. When I was going to step out of the pulpit and do this full time, I think it was the Holy Spirit, not evil, that spoke to me. And I was walking around Greenwood in the middle of the night, and the Holy Spirit said to me, "Are you willing to die earlier than you would have if you do this ministry?" And I'll be honest with you, I had to think about it and I pondered it because anybody that says, "Oh yeah, just go ahead and kill me," I don't care.
Yeah.
I don't believe that would be
Yeah.
sincere.
Baloney. Yeah.
Correct.
About 2 hours later, Ken, and weeping before the Lord, I said yes. If I can save people and help people for a season, then I'm willing to go home early. And many times these demons will tell us you will be killed. And what's interesting, they'll even say if I'm in another state, uh, I won't even mention Greenwood or Arkansas. They'll say we'll kill you, but you'll be killed before you get back to Arkansas. And and I always say to them, I respond back to that. I always say, well, if I am, it's because God chose it, not you. You don't have the power to take my life.
Good
And
point.
and I always say to them, if you could have killed me, you would have done it before I got here. And
Exactly.
and that's my position. And I don't mean that being cocky or arrogant, because you better not play around with that. If you say that, you better be sincere with it.
Well,
Exactly.
and that's the one thing that people talk about. Well, if you die, it says Bible says it to be absent from the body to be present from the Lord. But that's actually specifically, I believe, the way I understood it. Those who are on mission, you are on mission.
That's right.
So yeah, so that's like where do ghosts come from? Well,
Yeah.
those people aren't on mission. They're not doing their ministry. You're
Right.
actually in a battle. So yeah, if you're taken out by them, then you go straight to glory.
Yeah.
And
Well,
that's the way I understand it. So
Yeah.
I
And
could be
either
wrong.
either that or
yes.
you're dealing with trying to get rid of the demons basically, or you're trying to help a lost soul find
Exactly.
get them to
Exactly.
turn around and accept whatever, and or explain to them, look, you're afraid of something. What is it?
Mhm. Mhm.
So
One of the funnier
No,
things about
sorry.
what we get to do is, Adrian, people will call us and they'll say, "We want you to come and exercise the bad demons out of our home, but not
Not
the
the
good
good
Not the
one.
demons."
good
Yeah.
demons. Yeah.
And I always just laugh and I say, "I'll do my best, but I'm like a shotgun. I shoot everything that's moving."
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
I
Whatever's
can't
in the
promise
way.
you that, but I do think that there are. I think that God sends humans ghosts to help people. I've seen it. I believe with all my heart. When my mother got ready to die, we were talking to her, and I said, "Mom, what am I going to do without you being my prayer warrior?" And she looked at me and she said, "Whoever told you I won't be praying for you in heaven?" She said, "I'll be able to help you
Yeah.
more in heaven than I can here." And I'm going
That's
to tell you
awesome.
guys, I feel her presence when we're in battle, and I
All
think she
right.
is there. That's
That's
I
awesome.
really
And
believe that.
yes,
That's cool.
I believe it
That's a
100%.
great feeling.
Well,
That
you do this for the same reason why you became a preacher, right? You do this out of a position of love, right?
And a call to it.
Yeah, a calling, yeah, but that calling is because you love and you have that in there, and
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
that's what I like to bring out 1 Peter 4:8 too. He says, above all things, have intense, unfailing love for one another, for love covers a multitude of sins.
Yeah.
So, hey, we are failures quite often,
Yeah.
but you know, you
You know
do
what?
that. I find a lot of comfort in knowing that the more love I
One
show, the more grace I get.
one of the checks of that keeps you humble is, first of all, we're not being paid to do this. We're doing it for free. And secondly, there's no glory in this. I mean, even the people that are kind of glad you help people, they still kind of stay away from you. You make
Yeah.
it's funny. You walk in, where I go to church is a Baptist church, and I can hear people saying, "That's that exorcist over there. That's exorcism."
Scoot to
And
the side.
to be honest with
Yeah.
you, when you
That-
pastor a mega church and you love people and love to preach, and you get a lot of affirmation, you get a lot of enemies, but you get a lot of affirmation. But I'll be very honest with you. You don't get much affirmation from this because, first of all, we don't even talk about the cases. We're very confidential in that, and you have to be doing this for the Lord. Again, now there are people get paid. I know some people that charge $1,500 just for them to talk to them on the phone, and
That's
and,
sad.
and that's all they ever get. That's all they ever
and
get.
if I told you all the
Ugh.
names of these people, you would know them. They've written books, and
Yeah.
they're very much out there. And but I'm not comfortable charging for this. And again, we're blessed that people give to our ministry. Again, we don't take a salary.
That's different.
We have an office in Greenwood. We have a very nice studio. I really want to do more podcasts later, but I'll be honest with you, I haven't been able to because I'm too busy in the field right now.
Yeah.
And I feel like if I'm going to do a podcast, guys, I want it to be done right. I want it to be professional. And I just don't feel like I can put the energy into making it something to be proud of. And I'm just needed in the field right now. Maybe the time will
Yeah.
come when I get too old to get in the field that I can sit and do more podcasts. But but I think what keeps us clean and humble is we don't do it for anyone's glory, because you're not going to get any glory for this. There's none out there. In fact, you get the opposite. All you do is get people criticize you and saying, "Well, I don't think he ought to be doing that."
From both sides, yeah, because I walk somewhere in the middle. That I'm not paranormal enough for the paranormal people because I'm religious, but I'm not religious enough for the religious people because I'm paranormal.
Exactly.
And I'm like, well, hey, look, I'm me, and I try to be genuine. Like I said at the beginning of the show, you're a genuine person.
Well,
and
my
I want
goal-
you to take a-
My
I
goal is
want
when I go to bed at night, guys, and I put my head on the pillow, is that I want Jesus to be proud of what I've done. I'm not interested in pleasing a bunch of Baptists or a bunch of men, deacons, and elders, and I never was
Yeah,
very good at
because
that anyway. When I should have been.
Who cares when they say well done, right?
I want to please the Lord, and I want Him to be proud. But I'll be honest with you. You know what gives me the motivation is I love helping people. We do a lot of ministry to single mamas, and those demons really work on single moms and their kids. And I love to go in and fight for people that have no one to fight for them, and that's what motivates us. If you want to know the truth, and we if there's kids involved, that moves the priority up for us, and we'll get on the airplane and we'll go. And again, we pay our own expenses. We pay the rent car. We do that. And you know what's funny is the people that we've done the most for has given us the least amount of offering, and it's people that don't even know us very well will give us a $10,000 gift or something crazy. And you know what that means is that God pays the bills. And,
Yeah. It really is.
But I love to help people, and I'll tell you, we're fighting for people. And just like Wayne, when I help him, they go out there and they're out there all night long. I hang with them till about 1 or 2 in the morning, then I go to bed. And they don't get paid to do that. And they go help people. You guys go help people. You spend your own money. You put your own reputation
all over the world do that. Yeah, fantastic.
And I'm thankful for you guys, and I'm thankful for what you do. And Jesus said Himself, "Blessed are you when you're criticized for doing the right things."
Yeah.
Yep.
What I want you to do, We gotta wrap. Go ahead, Dan, real quick.
sorry, I've been trying to squeeze this one in for a while. Are you meant, based on what you just said, I don't know, 10 minutes ago, are you mentoring others to kind of take your place eventually?
For
Is
the
that
very first time, 2 weeks ago, we were out on a case, and somebody on a paranormal team got my attention, and I'm going to follow up on that person. Up until now, I've said no. My wife over here, Barbara, has begged me to find people to try to train and do this. I just don't know if it's possible, Ken. I don't know if I'm not going to pick them. God's going to have to bring someone to me because, first of all, I don't wish this ministry on anyone. I really don't.
It's a tough life.
Yeah.
But yes, I would love the opportunity. Now, what I do like to do is try to get preachers awake enough to realize at least there's a battle going on, and
Yeah.
and that's I'm trying to do that. But I would love to pour what God has taught me into someone, and I would love for y'all to pray about that. And if y'all know someone that you think may be called to do that, to do this ministry, I'd be open to it at all because. In fact, I'd love to just give it away to somebody and not do it at all. But,
Right?
but so far that hasn't happened yet.
Oh, I think their phone's ringing again. Hold on.
Yeah. You're pretty consistently on my prayer list, Terry.
But
and every
absolutely.
time, and you put it out there, on Facebook that you're going to go help a family in wherever, and I pray for you then, and I pray for you later.
Thank you.
We got to wrap this up. My show's now are a little long. That's okay. But before we let you go, I want you to plug yourself and how people get a hold of you, and all that, because there are people in need. There may be people listening now who are going through it, and how can they get a hold of you?
I'm gonna let Barb do that. Let me just say thank you for letting us come tonight. We've had a blast, and
Yeah.
Awesome.
you know,
So glad
Thank you.
if people are watching and they'll see this on YouTube, different places, our goal is to have 300 people that pray for us every time we go in to do a case. We're going to San Antonio, Texas, where a Catholic priest was doing a blessing on a property and was killed during the blessing. So we're going to Houston, Texas here in a couple of weeks to a place that's going to be a very dangerous place to be, and we need prayer warriors. And I'm going to let Barbara tell you kind of how to connect with us. We'd love to help people. Again, we don't charge anybody or anything like that, but we just want to help people any way we can. But we need prayer warriors. And Adrian, thank you. And by the way, it's your turn to buy lunch next time. So
I know. I get it. We will get together.
Hey,
But
if nothing else, when we're in Little Rock, we'd like to eat with you guys in fellowship in October when that time comes. But let's try to get together beforehand.
We'll do it.
Okay, Barbara's going to share with you the best ways to connect with us.
We were seeing your shoulder, right? There you go.
And pray for her. She's in the paranormal of a math teacher in Lavaca, Arkansas. So.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Those ghostly numbers. Yeah.
Yes. To get Terry's connection, you could do let's see.
First of all,
tellingthetruthministry.com.
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 The TTT 105.
His email is tttministry105@gmail.com. And then his book can be found at paranormalexperiences.com.
Cool.
Where can you buy this book?
Look at us all.
On Amazon or Barnes and Noble. Also, we finally came out with the audiobook. So we have
yay!
Yeah, we're excited about that.
Yeah.
Awesome.
So that's pretty
All
neat.
right.
Yeah.
But share the book with us.
Yeah. And we appreciate you. And God's blessed it. We've sold thousands of copies. And what's great is we get calls and emails from people that their life was changed when they read something in that book, especially about the mental illness versus the demonic. That's what age is worth buying the book for, in my opinion.
I remember when I met you, you were like, if you don't read anything else, read this chapter.
Yes.
Yes.
Make sure you read it because it's an important one.
Well,
Hey, Terry, Yeah, don't go away. Hang on for just a few minutes. I'm gonna
Sure.
throw you in the back room for a second. Enjoy the
Sure.
M&Ms, but don't go away. Here we go. Thank
Sounds good.
you,
God
thank
bless
you for
everyone.
coming on. Great
It's
show.
our joy.
Very good.
Awesome.
Oof, man, that was a good show. I like
Yeah.
that. I
That
like
was
it
a
lot.
good
Great one.
show. Very good show.
Really, really.
Shelly
good.
Beard's coming on next week.
Sweet.
Yay! Who?
Shelly Beard. I just had her on
Shelly Beard.
Sunday.
Shelley
All
Bear. I
right.
know the name.
That's cool.
Who?
Another
She
friend. I like
is
it.
out of she is out of she used to be in Arkansas. She goes to the Crescent Hotel a lot. She's
Okay.
out of Mississippi.
Okay.
Yeah,
Cool.
yeah.
Mhm.
She's
Look
been here.
forward
She's
to-
been there.
Look forward to meeting her.
Yeah,
in
yeah.
the-
No,
in
she's
the-
good.
In
She's
the
good people.
squares. One of the little
She is.
squares.
And it's squared.
Very nice.
All right,
people.
folks. And I gotta hurry up and go because I'm missing Will Trent. All right.
All right.
Hey, it is what it is. I like the show. All right,
No,
bye, guys.
It's a good show.
Have a good night, y'all.
Night,
Have a good
everybody.
day.
Have a good week. See you next week.
All right, Ken, I'm leaving this all up to you.
Oh God, thank you. I'm gonna read right column. Ken, Pam, Shaw.
Oh, it's
Adrian.
Pamper.
Here we go.
He's not gonna do it.
All right. YouTube. Lizard, Jamie, Russ, Nathan, Beyond, Toon, Nurky, Flat, Jen, Glenn, Chris, Caney, Kenya, Beth, Doug, Kansas, Big Shannon, Beth, somebody, Robert, Chris, Michael, Pam, RM, Annie. Ooh, that was tough. This side. Hillary, Ghost, Pixel, Rockstar,
Never
Toon,
gonna happen, folks.
Lizard.
No.
I need help with